Let's start from the law updates, and been a very big change, which, first of all, I have to outline, is irrelevant for the next January SQE1 or SQE2 assessments because cutoff date was just before it was introduced. Plus, there's different deadlines as it comes into force. But this is super change which will affect tenancies very seriously. And obviously, students who are going to sit the exam later, either SQE1 or SQE2, they will be assessed on it. Maybe you could a little bit introduce us to this Rents Rights Act 2025.
So there's been a lot of controversy around this, largely from the perspective of landlords, but also from some tenants who are a bit apprehensive about what the impact is going to be on them in the future. So the Act itself is designed to protect renters under assured tenancies, ASTs, assured short-hold tenancies in the UK. One of the biggest changes is going to be basically the abolition of Section 21 notices. So at the moment, I think everybody's probably aware, under the Housing Act 1988, it's possible to serve a Section 21 notice, which is a kind of no-fault eviction, to say, here's 2 months' notice, please leave. And after this date, I can apply to the court for an order that you have to leave. That's going to disappear. That's going to be gone from May 2026. The Act has already received royal assent, so it's already law, but this will not come into effect, or that part will not come into effect until May 2026. People will then have to rely on Section 8 notices instead, which are predicated usually upon some kind of breach or upon discretionary grounds where, for example, the landlord actually wants to go into occupation themselves, or there's suitable alternate accommodation or certain other grounds. All tenancies as well, and this is another huge change, will become periodic tenancies. So fixed term tenancies, again, from May 2026 will disappear. They will all become periodic. They will just keep rolling unless there is a reason for them to end. This will also convert anything that was already a fixed tenancy before May 2026. So if, for example, a new agreement is signed now that has a 2-year term, it's going to become periodic from May 2026. There's an end to what was previously types of sort of legal discrimination or selectiveness by landlords to say no DSS, which is a type of benefits in the UK. They didn't want tenants in the property who were receiving state benefits, welfare from the government. And they say no kids or no pets or things like that. Pets is slightly different. We can talk about that now as well. There's no longer the ability to just have a blanket ban, to have an absolute prohibition and say no pets at the property. This is almost comparable to if you think about qualified prohibitions, or even a fully qualified prohibition here, they can refuse, but only if there's reasonable grounds. So if you ask, they can't just unreasonably deny you the ability to have a pet at the property. Again, these are all from May 2026. So although the law exists now, these will not be enforceable until that time. There will be rent controls as well, limits on rent increases, only one time per year, and they will have to be in line with market value as well. So it's not possible to do something which some landlords were abusing previously, which was to effectively try and price their tenants out. If they couldn't evict their tenant, they wanted to raise the rent to an unaffordable level to get rid of the tenant. There's going to be far greater protection against that now. And also on advanced rent payments, only 1 month in advance now. So they can't say you need to pay the first 6 months in advance on signing the agreement. Only 1 month advance payment is allowed. This decent home standard, this is not coming in May 2026. This is quite a bit further off in the future. I'm not 100% sure on the date that they'd set, but I think they'd said actually sometime much later, like 2035. This is going to be a minimum quality standard for all homes in the private rented sector. There's already certain types of protection for providing basically safe accommodation, and there will be other protections in the Renters' Rights Act as well. But this sort of universal standard is not going to come in until sometime later. The same with landlord databases and a landlord ombudsman. That's not going to come in until a bit later. I think I'd read 2027 later for that. This is going to be a register of all landlords where they're going to actually have to register and go into this database. And the ombudsman is going to be a more efficient in terms of time and cost efficient way to actually resolve disputes with landlords. Because at the moment, a lot of people are very discouraged by the prospect of having to go to court to resolve disputes with their landlord. It's costly, it's time consuming, it's difficult. And the landlord is in usually a stronger position because they probably have more resources available to them, maybe more experience as well with this kind of matter. So the theory is that the Ombudsman is going to be a fairer body to deal with this.
Yeah, and what is the practical outcome eventually of introduction of this act?
A lot of people are optimistic. I know obviously that the government is optimistic, but there are a lot of people as well who are very skeptical. And I think that ultimately the cost of this is going to be pushed onto tenants. It's going to become very difficult for smaller private landlords to survive with the levels of regulation. So I think there's going to be a rise in larger sort of landlord businesses. Companies will probably start buying up properties that are being sold. A lot of people are trying to get out of the game. A lot of landlords, they don't want to be dealing with this. So people who just have a house that they rent out, a lot of them are trying to sell. A lot of people are also trying to issue their Section 21 notices now to get tenants out and then sell up and stop the property being a rented property. They just want to sell it again as a normal home. So I don't think that there's going to be an immediate positive effect. It will perhaps take a while. I think in the short term, there's going to be a lot of negatives to come from this.
Everything which is new needs a little bit of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Adjusted and implemented, but the intentions are good.